There I was, scrolling my life away on YouTube. But I also sometimes like to improve my skills by watching videos on UI/UX. Videos of UI/UX designers using AI to do their work were popping left and right in my recommendation feed. And questions were being asked if AI will replace us to do our jobs. All I've been using AI till now for is asking ChatGPT to make workout routines I'm never going to follow, or asking DALL-E to make Valorant skins or other things, which I probably shouldn't show in my videos. After looking at all these videos, even I wanted to try making a website landing page using all these AI tools, and I thought of a startup which plants trees in the space, and it's called Green Rocket. So let's hop on to Figma and start. So I started by going to DALL-E 2 and wrote startup website landing page design and modern and minimalistic, all those tags, and it generated a few results. I liked one of them. I copied it. I tried to change the prompt a few times and generate more variations, but didn't get anywhere. So I continued with the one which I chose in the beginning. Next, I went to ChatGPT, asked it for a few display fonts which I could use as headings and titles. It gave me 5. I laid them out on Figma. I didn't like any one of them because they were like monster art Lato and stuff. They're usually used for like ultra minimal look and be paragraph and body text, but I wanted a good solid looking display font, so I wrote the prompt again to generate display type fonts. The next 5 fonts generated were nice, but sadly only 2 of them were available already on Figma, and I didn't want to stretch this too much, so I just chose one of them which looked pretty good. I started laying out the elements which I saw in the design generated by DALL-E 2. I chose one of the fonts recommended from before to use as the paragraph text for the links on the header and the body text and stuff. While making the layout, I noticed that there was some text in the middle of the page, so I thought of asking ChatGPT to generate more body text, give it a little bit of the background of the startup, and it did generate a pretty large text. I then asked it to minimize it to like 5 lines, and I copied and pasted that under the design. It looked pretty good. That was nice. After laying out, I started putting on the colors, and I told ChatGPT to give me a color palette with the primary color as lime green. Sadly, the lime green was different from the one we chose, so we copied the hex code of our primary color which in the design and put that into ChatGPT, and then asked it to generate a color palette from that. It did do that. There are a few problems with that. It was putting up a purple color for some reason, which looked pretty bad, and it just like changed out the first lime green color with the primary color which we sent. So I had to mess around with the prompt a bit to have it generate what I want. At the end, I generated a monologous color palette. So monologous means colors from the same side of the color wheel. And ChatGPT had told to use the white color as the text color on a dark background. So I put the same color as the button color. And then I asked ChatGPT that, hey, I can't see the white text on my buttons because of the primary color. What should I change? And it did give me a solution. It's just that it changed the white color, which already existed, to a darker color, instead of just telling me to use the background color, which is already a black charcoal kind of color, as the text color on the buttons. But yeah, it kind of gave me the solution, but yeah, it could have been simpler. But yeah, it did give me the solution, so that was nice. And then I continued to lay out the rest of the design. I copied what I could from the design produced by DALL-E 2, and I just made the final designs. And here is how it looks after using DALL-E and ChatGPT. So in conclusion, DALL-E 2 did give pretty good results. I mean, they were usable. They were not bad for one person who just started a startup and does not have a team and is not good with design. They do not start with a blank canvas. They do start with something. So I mean, that helps in some amount. But as we saw in the results, the text on the design wasn't really text, it was just random gibberish. In fact, even the colors, maybe some colors don't even pass the contrast test, which is required to be a good website. And if you're going to ask me why I did not use Midjourney instead of DALL-E, 1, because I'm poor. 2, I used up all of my 25 credits generating anime fan art and Valorant skins. Yes, I have a problem. So about ChatGPT, it was pretty good. It filled up this content space I left in the design, and it wasn't Lorem Ipsum, which is sure to impress stakeholders more than they usually would be, and it would be easier for you to convince them to approve your design. But the content generated was really generic. You can ask it to generate very tuned and specific content according to your requirement, but that is just wasting time because that work usually gets done by the content team anyways. But if you're a solo designer, I think then you can use ChatGPT for sure. And also about generating color palettes, I think you can still stick to coolers.io because ChatGPT isn't replacing that anytime soon, because it did mess up a lot of color palette generation as you saw in the video. And it also, like, few of the colors did have a contrast issue with each other, which it could not fix properly. And it makes sense because large language models like ChatGPT are actually based on probability. So it's like you ask a question that, hey, what is your name? And it's gonna probably generate the best answer. So it's gonna say, like, most answers to that question start with, hi, my name is. So it's gonna generate H first and then count the probability of which letter or which character comes next and then generate an I. So it only makes sense that it did not actually calculate the contrast ratio between the colors. It just generated the highest probable answer when someone asks for a contrast ratio accurate color. Contrast ratio accurate? Contrasting colors. So AI is not taking our jobs anytime soon. AI is just a tool which is very new, which is very powerful, and if used in the correct way can help designers a lot. Designers add value to the product by empathizing with the users. We talk to the users, we empathize with them, we ask them questions, we fine tune the product according to the users. So I don't think AI can do that still, because again, they're just going to put out the most probable answer, which is taken by already existing answers. So in some scenarios where your particular condition may require an already existing answer, but the permutation and the combination of all those questions or the problems are not calculated by the AI, then it cannot answer your question. So for that, you need the humans for us to do the research and fine-tune the product as required by our stakeholders and the user. But hey, what do I know, right? I'm just gonna go back to scrolling my life away on YouTube.